students, today we will learn the lab assignment from web technology. So we will see the first assignment. So I have already given you the assignment list. In that, first assignment is installation of Tomcat, WebSphere, JBoss or Glassfish server and configuration of it. So in lab we have already seen, but then also I am repeating the same session. That is Tomcat server installation. So Tomcat server installation objective is to understand how to install that Tomcat server and set up environment variables. And the problem statement again is installation of Tomcat server and configuration of it. I have already given so many steps, like how it will do step by step in your unit as well. So you can go through that, and because here I haven't given the configuration steps pictures as it is a lab manual, but in unit section I have provided you all that material, so you can visit that also, that link as well. So after knowing this practical or this assignment, you will learn that how to install Tomcat server and how to configure it. And for that we will be using software and hardware as Java 7 or later we can use, and Apache Tomcat server. Okay, so these are two software requirements, and now we'll move to the theory concept. So what that web application is and how the Tomcat is enabled with that web application. So web application runs over the internet, for example eBay, Amazon, Google, Facebook, etc. And a web app contains 5 components. Okay, so this application which is running over the internet, that web app, it contains or it is made up of 5 components. The first is HTTP server, second is HTTP client, third database, fourth client side programs, and fifth server side programs. So first part, that is HTTP server, as example we can see those are Google web server, Apache HTTP server, Apache Tomcat server, Microsoft Internet Information Server, that is shortly called as IIS. Okay, so these are HTTP servers. Second is HTTP client or the web browser. So the examples of HTTP client are Internet Explorer, Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari. Okay, all these are web browsers we are using. And third is database. So databases can be so many as per your programming languages, and like MySQL, Apache Derby, MS SQL, then SQLite, PostgreSQL, Commercial Oracle, IBM DB2, SAP Sybase, MS Access. So there is a list of databases that can be used for each web browser or each HTTP server as well. And fourth is client side programs. So it can be written in HTML form, VB script, JavaScript, Flash, etc. Okay, client side programming means the program that we can write, the user can write. And the server side programs, it could be written in Java Servlet, JSP, ASP, then PHP, Perl, Python, CGI and others. So these are the 5 components which make a web application. And the web application, any web app, is 3-tier or multi-tier client server database application that runs over the internet. And the figure can be shown in as it is shown below, like there is HTTP client, that is browser, HTTP over TCP IP, and HTTP server as well. Okay, and you can see the client side programs are there under HTTP client, that is at the browser side. In HTTP, there over TCP IP the request message is sent, and response messages got from the HTTP server. So these things are carried out with the TCP/IP network. Okay, so application and can be HTTP and presentation is SSL, and the transport network are TCP and IP, and data link is IEEE 802.11. So multiplexing, port retransmission, addressing and routing things can be used here over TCP/IP network. And when the request message is sent to the HTTP server, okay, so at that time the HTML pages, forms, applets, or any server side programs like for searching that database is used, applications are used. Okay, and after that the request is carried, and the response is given back to the HTTP client. So to start a web app, a user issues URL request via a web browser, that is HTTP client, to the HTTP server. The HTTP server returns an HTML form, that is client side program, which is loaded into the client's browser. So these are the steps from this diagram. Listen carefully. Okay, so first what will be done, the HTTP client will send request to HTTP server. Okay, the second step will be HTTP server returns an HTML form which is loaded into the client's browser. Then the user fills up the query data inside the form and submits that form. The client side program sends a query parameters to the server side program. Then the server side program receives a query parameters, queries the database based on these parameters, and returns the query result to the client side program. Okay, based on this database and applications, the query will be returned to the client side program, and the client side program displays the query result on the browser. Okay, and the process repeats for the next request or next query as well. Okay, so this was about simple web application. Now we will see what is Apache Tomcat. So Tomcat is an open source project under the Apache Software Foundation that also provides the most used open source industrial strength Apache HTTP server. And the mother site for Tomcat is http tomcat.apache.org, and alternatively you can find Tomcat via the Apache mother site like the same. Okay, and for execution steps, what we will do, we will first visit that site. Okay, that is http tomcat.apache.org. Okay, under that you will see a list of the download options, means what things you can download from it. Okay, so just select the Tomcat version 8 from left side list under download option. Okay, that is Tomcat 8, or select a link, that is 32-bit or 64-bit Windows Service Installer PGP, MD5, SHA-1 and SHA 512. So download and run .exe file, and here in installation steps we have preferred the installation of Tomcat at C program files x86 Apache Software Foundation. Okay, in this folder. So use the default settings and provide a password that you will remember. And now we will find the Tomcat installed at the same folder as with the name Tomcat 8.0. Okay, location will be C program files, that is x86 and Apache Software Foundation. Then how to run that Tomcat. Now following are the steps that that will be executed for checking whether the Tomcat has been installed successfully or not. So find the start program in program menu, look under Apache Tomcat and select start Tomcat or startup.bat file. Okay, what you have to do, you have to find the start program in programs menu, look under Apache Tomcat and select start Tomcat, or you can just execute that startup.bat file. Then open any web browser and type in the given URL, that is http localhost 8080. Now you will see the Tomcat homepage, which is provided by the Tomcat web server running on your computer. To shut down your server and remove the console window, select Stop Tomcat in the same menu of where you selected Start Tomcat. Okay. Then Tomcat's directories. It contains following subdirectories like bin, config, that is conf, lib, logs, work, temp. Okay, so all these directories, the subdirectories have their own importance. Like bin contains the binaries, that is startup script, like startup.bat for Windows and startup.sh for Unix and Mac OS. Then shutdown script like shutdown.bat for Windows and shutdown.sh for Unix and Mac OS again. So as well as other binaries and scripts also. So conf, that is conf, it contains the system-wide configuration files such as server.xml, web.xml, context.xml and Tomcat users.xml. Then lib, it contains a Tomcat system-wide jar files which can be accessible by all web apps. We can also place external jar files such as MySQL, JDBC driver or any drivers that we want to execute in the program like Java jar also. Then logs, it contains log files of Tomcat. Also you can check error messages here. Then web apps, it contains the web apps to be deployed. You can also place WAR, that is web app archive file for deployment in the subdirectories folder. Then work, that is Tomcat's working directory used by JSP for JSP to servlet conversion. And temp, that is for temporary files storing purpose. Okay, and how to set a path for Windows, we will assume that we have installed Java in C program files. Okay, if not, we have also provided Java steps for executing and installing Java in your system. Okay, because this is also a necessity for executing Tomcat. So assuming that we have already installed Java in C program files, the Java JDK 1.7.0 directory, the version can be anyone. Right click on my computer and select the properties, then click the environment variables button under the advanced tab. Okay, then we have to alter the path variable so that it also contain the path to the Java executable. For example, path set to C program files in x86 folder, Java JDK 1.7.0 bin, or you can use through command like you have to just open that command prompt and you can set the path by following command like set path equals to C colon slash program file x86 double slash Java slash JDK 1.7.0 slash bin. Okay, so any of these two things you can use for changing that path of your variable. Okay, so if you are setting it with the command prompt, you can see there is a screenshot of same execution, and in this way you can just execute and configure your Tomcat server. Okay, so in this way we have learned how to install and configure the Tomcat server, and here some basic oral questions are given, like what is Tomcat, what is the Tomcat default port, what is the servlet container lifecycle, what services are provided by Tomcat, and explain directory structure of Tomcat. So all these detailed things you need to visit your class files, or just visit that PPTs I have provided for your unit. Okay, all these things can be covered there as well. Okay, these are just related questions that can be asked from the same assignment. Okay, so in next session we will see second assignment, that is HTML, CSS and XML files. Okay, till then take care.